Hey friends, welcome back to Bike Rides. Today is the first day of autumn here on planet Earth in the northern hemisphere. We have a lovely day, blue sky, not a cloud in it, fairly cool temperatures, which is just fine for this guy. And today I am going to go ride a new route, though it's not a new route in the sense that people don't ride these trails, but looping together an 80K loop that you could ride as like a big day out, like quite a big day out on a gravel bike. I'm calling this ride the Moose Mountain Rounder. And as you might imagine, we're going around Moose Mountain, which is a huge feature out here and has mountain bike trails kind of all over it and around it. So in this instance, what I'm planning on doing is going around on more gravel roads and less technical trails. So you don't have to be a really technical, super technical mountain biker to enjoy this route. So let's go check it out. But before we head out, I got some really sad news yesterday. A friend of mine and a friend to many, Dr. Darren Markland, passed away when he was out mountain biking with his friends yesterday. You know, I know he was doing something that he absolutely loves when he passed, but that doesn't make his loss any easier to take. The guy was a giant. He was a champion. I don't know if there's anybody else that I've ever met in my whole entire life that had as much compassion and empathy as he had for humanity. He was a doctor, where I believe he was, I think he did like lots of kidney stuff, but he was also a doctor in the ICU in Edmonton. And his sudden loss at such a young age, we're pretty close in age, in our 50s, I just can't really process it, to be honest with you. But I do want to recognize that Darren was an incredible guy. And I was really lucky. I had opportunity to ride with him on a few occasions and even go overnighting. We did a fixie packing trip together with Doug Coldbike a couple years ago. And, you know, Darren inspired me to put myself out there and to do the best that I could, to be a nice person, to be a really caring person, and to help my community in the way that I could. And so today on this ride, I'm thinking about you, buddy, and I'm thinking about your lovely wife and your son, who both I'm sure are absolutely heartbroken. I can't even begin to imagine how they're feeling. But I want to dedicate this route and this ride to Darren's wonderful legacy and how great he was. You know, we were texting yesterday morning before his passing about he was looking for information about bikepacking with a friend. And when he didn't reply, I thought that was weird, because that's just not really his way. And so I even had opportunity to kind of, you know, connect with him even on the most basic level yesterday. But I'm really sad that I didn't get to talk to him or even just text with him before his passing. And so, yeah, you know, hat tip to Darren. What an amazing man. You will be missed. Woohoo! All right, 30K in. We've made it to the Dawson campground. There's a big forestry cut block right through, but boy, it was kind of weird going through that big open cut block area, but we're here. Kind of forgot how hard this coming up this way was. I know it's climbing the whole way, but it's pretty chunky chunk. So yeah, that was the first little bit. Next objective is to bomb along the Powder Face Road. We probably got about 20K of the Powder Face Road, and I think once we get to the top of the Powder Face Trail, we'll maybe check in at that point, because from there it's mostly downhill all the way back to the car.
Okay, this is crazy. Coming up the other side there, the climb. I didn't record it, but there's a section near the bottom there that was so steep and so buck wild. I had to get off the bike and push a couple of times. But once you get over the top, which you just saw, it's all this buffed out new trail. It's kind of crazy. Whew, all right, we're back. 75K, something like that for the loop. Definitely not a gravel bike unless you are a masochist. I would say it's definitely a mountain bike or perhaps like modern ATB with like 2-inch plus tires, because it was pretty chonky and that last major section of trail on the Powder Face Ridge, I think they call it. That trail climbing up from the Powder Face Road was really savage. Was able to ride most of it, but there was a few spots that were so impossibly steep, even with the e-bike, I couldn't get up them, or just like blown out by running water and creeks and stuff. But made it, and then coming down the other side was you could see it was like kind of like machine built and redone, but on a rigid bike that I was riding, there's no way I could let it go any faster than I was going. It was pretty intense already, but man, it was fun. And then onto the road, and then blasted right back here. And so, you know, if you're going to come out to do this loop, you know, it's a pretty tough loop. I'm going to call it an expert level ride, not for the faint of heart, because it's just so long and there's so much elevation. No services, and you have to filter your own water and all that kind of good stuff. But if you're up for a big around Moose Mountain adventure, this one is great. It takes out some of the stuff that's really savagely difficult, like Cox Hill and Jumping Pound, and kind of keeps you on the Powder Face Road, which is, frankly, it's hard enough. And then the Powder Face trail is really brutal to kind of push up to the ridge, but it's kind of worth it, because when you plunge down the other side, you know, it's like downhill all the way back to the car for many kilometers. So right on, thanks for coming along. And Darren, we'll see you on that, maybe we'll meet up on that single track in Valhalla.